What's up? Check it out. We're getting backpacks today because we're going on an adventure. I think we should start back at the very beginning. What happened when you got out of active duty, but before you got your civilian job?
I signed up for the reserves.
Right.
I decided to transfer over. Instead of just being completely done with the Air Force, I decided to sign up with the Air Force Reserves and go that route instead and find a totally different job
Than what you had been doing.
Yeah, than what I had been doing. I was done with the Air Force, but I didn't have my civilian job like all lined up yet, so I was kind of like, I was getting nervous and stressed and wasn't sure what was going on.
The reserves appealed a lot at that point in time because back at that point, this is probably in September-ish.
Yeah.
At that point in time, he didn't have a civilian job lined up, and that's a scary place to be when you're getting out of the military.
Yeah, and I only had like two more paychecks coming.
Right. So when he was looking for a civilian job, he was also told how good of an idea going into the reserves would be because you get your health care, you get paychecks for, you know, the weekends that you work and stuff.
Well, on paper, it's great.
On paper, it's great. It's a great gig.
In general, I think it's a great... outside of my current circumstance, I would probably keep doing the reserves.
Right. September, you're in terminal leave. October rolls around. You're basically getting everything started with doing the reserves, and then you get your civilian job.
Yeah, so everything lines up, thankfully, with my civilian job. I get hired, and I start almost right away. So basically, the recruiter kind of told me some bad information about, like, how it was going to work with my civilian job because I work 4 on 4 off. And so he said, like, basically what we're going to do is we're going to set you up with this squadron that you're going to for the reserves, and we're not going to tell them that your schedule is all funky monkey, and they'll just have to schedule around you when you get there. I was like, well, okay, like that seems kind of weird, but
okay,
whatever.
Well, and that, you know, at the time we were like, okay, interesting, but we didn't know better either way, and so it was like, okay, I guess that's a thing that you can do.
I get through my deployment job stuff.
You get to your squadron.
Yeah, my squadron is, and they were definitely kind of bending over backwards to kind of accommodate me and my weird schedule, which is fine because, like, they're, you know, they do that stuff. That's why you can reschedule everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you can only do so much, and I found out that basically what the recruiter had told me about them rescheduling everything around my schedule was a bunch of BS. You can only reschedule so many training weekends in a quarter, and that wasn't going to work for me. And I was also kind of told that I could basically do like two weeks of my training all at once, so that I only have to make maybe two or three trips down to in between my deployments, which was not true, because basically they said that, well, if you're here in the States, we're not going to reschedule the training weekends just to fit your schedule. Basically, they hadn't invested anything in me. I haven't gone to tech school for the new job yet. I haven't done anything except show up at the squadron. Well,
the other thing, before you get into that, is that, so with this new job, because it's a completely different job than what you had been doing, they have to send you to tech school. And in the reserves, the promotions are automatic as long as you're qualified for that position, correct?
Yeah, as long as you meet the requirements. You don't have to test.
So, because of your job schedule, you would not even go to tech school until November of 2019. We got that date finally. Yay, we got the date. It's November.
Well,
your tech school is 6 weeks long. Then you'd have to do CDCs.
ICDCs, yeah,
ICDCs.
Which are some form of CDCs, which at a minimum would take two and a half months to complete.
At which point you would have to immediately deploy again with your civilian job, come home. The sun's right there. At this point, it's summer. No, spring.
What?
When would you come home from your deployment?
Which one?
The one after you go to tech school. So the first two,
like June or something.
Right. So summer. It's summer of 2020 at this point. Then you'd have to go to NCO Academy.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I'd have more training to do, probably.
More
and then,
training.
Yeah, NCO Academy.
NCO Academy, which we don't even know the length of, because at this point, he'd be getting out of the reserves in November of 2020.
Basically, my ETS, for those of you that don't know, when you enlist in the military, no matter if you sign a 4 or 6 year contract, you always sign up for 8 years. Basically, you serve your 4 or 6. For me, I served my 6, and then you serve the rest of the, for me it was 2 years. You'd serve the rest in what's called IRR, which is Inactive Ready Reserves, which is basically what would happen right before a draft. My 8 years would be up November of next year, 2020. And so I would basically be they'd be spending all this money on me, and I'd be going to all this training, all these schools, just to turn around and be like, oh, see you later.
Yeah, because you were not interested in re-enlisting.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't make sense unless you were re-enlisting.
Yeah, so I basically I talked to them, and I was like, look, like, this is obviously not going to work out with you guys and with me, and like, this doesn't work with my schedule or my life. I was told a bunch of bad information.
Communication was bad all around.
Communication was terrible, and I was like, you haven't invested anything in me. All I've done is show up. I haven't gone to tech school yet. Can I just go back to IRR?
Can I just walk away, basically?
Yeah, I'm like, can I just not do this? And they basically said yes. There's just a bunch of paperwork stuff that we have to do now and wait on, which sucks. As of right now, I'm not doing the reserves anymore because it just doesn't work for me.
Right, and it's honestly a big relief.
Yeah.
Like, because if the reserves was going to work out, we'd need to be going down to basically every month that you'd be home.
Yeah.
And
the only thing I can reschedule is the 4 months that I'd be away, which is fine because that's how it would work normally, which they're totally cool with. But I'd have to be going there every month. And I'm just like, the whole reason I did the reserves and this job is so I don't have to do that. Right,
and also the other reason is that, like, the entire reason the deployment job appealed in the first place anyway was so when you were home, you didn't have to do a lot of stuff. Like, you had that time off. If we wanted to travel, we could travel. If we wanted to stay home, we could stay home. We had the freedom to do whatever we wanted to do with your 4 months home. And the reserves would not have let that happen. No. And it would have it's way too much stress, way too much going on. And the stars didn't align quite right, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so long story short, I showed up for a week, did some stuff, figured out it wasn't going to work, and now I'm just waiting on paperwork to be officially done. And back on the IRR, and I'm not doing the reserves anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? That's something to celebrate.
Yeah,
you know?
No, I was actually, I was kind of disappointed and sad just in myself, but,
what an accomplishment, though.
Yeah,
you did 6 years active duty. Reserves would have been cool, but it was only a 2-year commitment anyway.
Yeah, and as soon as I got there too, I came back with the first day. I was like, I feel like I'm back in active duty Air Force, and this sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, and there was a reason why you didn't want to re-enlist in the active duty Air Force in the first place anyway.
Yep, and I shaved my beard, which sucked too.
Yeah, you had to shave because of the reserves, but you can grow it out now, and it's fine.
Yep, I don't have to.
Yeah,
worry about it.
I guess if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the description. Feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I know this is kind of, it didn't work out how we had anticipated it would work out. I blame a lot of it on the information that we were given from the recruiter. He basically told us that, they could totally accommodate you basically any way possible, and it was not the case.
That's true to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent that's true, but because your job is so funky and you have such big chunks of working constantly and not working at all, they couldn't accommodate it as hoped. That's okay. We wouldn't have known that until we got there. Well, that's not necessarily true either. There's a huge piece of this that there was a big lack of communication between the squadron and everybody. You weren't told where the base was, what time to show up.
I literally had to Google Maps how to get to the base.
Right. Well, and we've been saying to you guys for months now, we don't know when he has to go to tech school because apparently you have to in process in order to even have an estimate, which I thought was really weird, but it just, a big lack of communication, being told bad information, your civilian job, all of these work together to make it so it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. Now that we have gone through that and we know that, we can do a lot more, like travel.
Yeah.
That's next on the list.
That's going to be the next kind of, are we gonna do that video like right now?
No, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But we're gonna go.
We have some exciting stuff
We have some exciting stuff
that
planned.
we're still waiting on because of the reserve.
I know, we have to have confirmation that you're officially done, but we did get some backpacks.
Yeah.
We are doing a little bit of backpacking in a little bit, and it's gonna be
It's not
a party.
backpacking.
Well,
Just because you have a backpack on your back does not mean you're backpacking.
okay, what is the definition of backpacking?
It's like going places, traveling with just your backpack, and probably like camping places or like hitchhiking.
We will only have backpacks.
Yeah, but we're staying at like, we don't even know where we're staying.
No, we haven't gotten that far yet.
But we're not like hitchhiking.
No, you don't. But I don't think you. Okay, I have a question for you.
Maybe it is a form of backpacking.
I have a question. What constitutes as backpacking? In my head, I figured if you were traveling solely with a backpack, that is backpacking.
I can see that.
Right?
To me, when I hear backpacking or like somebody says, "Oh, I'm going backpacking,"
You're thinking of a hippy dippy on the side of the road hitchhiking.
No, not hippy dippy, but like you're going. You'd be like your pretty much only mode of transportation would be like walking,
Right.
or hiking, or like maybe some hitchhiking, and like couch surfing or something.
Not
like
trains? Because we'll be doing a lot of trains.
that. Yeah, I know.
Public transportation.
So maybe we are backpacking. It's just I think of it differently.
That's okay. Let us know what your definition of backpacking is in the comments down below. We are at the grocery store. We're gonna go get some stuff for dinner tonight. We're having dinner with Blake's family tonight. And I think we're just gonna put this update video kind of up on its own. And then we're gonna get back into regular vlogging, hopefully this week, because I know we've been slacking a lot.
There's been back and forth.
There's been so much going on, and now at least the reserve stuff is figured out, and we can or at least mostly figured out, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
Have a fresh chapter without the Air Force.
Yes. Thank God.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye.